What's going on, guys? Today is story time because I'm about to share one of pretty much a story on how I had a $15,000 meal. If you've already read the title, yes, I was once scammed on a container of tires, and that in a way kind of prompted for me to do these types of videos to hopefully help those individuals like myself back in the day prevent from losing money like that. And so if you have a tire shop, a tire wholesale business, a mobile shop, whatever, you most likely have once at least received an email from a company saying, hey, we're from overseas and we're looking or offering to sell you some tires in containers. We're from China, Vietnam, Turkey, Mexico, whatever the case might be. And they're pretty much offering you some products. And they are most of the times legit companies, but sometimes these are some bad actors. So in this video, as you already saw in the title, I'm going to be talking about how I personally lost $15,000 in a lunch because of a container of tires. Now, I do suggest you stick to the end because towards the end of the video, I'm going to be revealing the name of the scammer. And if you help me reach out to that scammer and collect my money, I'll be splitting the $15,000 in half with you. Heck, I'll even give you most of it, to be honest. And at this point, I kind of consider it lost. But again, you do want to stick to towards the end so you can know the scammer's name. Now, I do this video not to shame anyone, even though scamming is shameful, but I do it so that you are not tricked like myself. So again, just kind of leaving that in the air. Now, before we do begin, I do want to thank the sponsor of the video, TireBase, but I'll be talking about them more in just a moment. So let me just tell you how it all started. The reason why I reached out to this specific individual, he was a person, was because I was looking for more suppliers, in other words. So I was in my wholesale business in Las Vegas and North Tires Enterprises, which is still operating today, but I was leading that department, specifically the purchasing department. So that's where I got most of my experience in purchasing. And we were already buying maybe anywhere between 3 to 4 containers per month with a mix of companies, and so I needed something cheaper, and we were trying to get into commercial tires as well. And my father actually told me that a person reached out to him. Now, obviously, my father is more focused and has always been more focused towards the retail side of the business, meaning the storefronts, the manager, the operations, all that stuff, the actual purchasing for the stores. And then I was taking care of more of the wholesale, right? So we would have a warehouse that would supply our stores, and then I was kind of in charge of the warehouse, buying from manufacturers, dealing with all that. But he told me that this person reached out, told him that he might have some good pricing, that he actually had really good pricing in some commercial TBR tires. And I was like, fine, no problem. So this guy was like, well, he's gonna be in LA. I was actually gonna be flying to LA for some meetings. I was like, perfect, I'll meet him for lunch. I remember I picked a yard house, and I was like, yeah, sure. At that time, I was actually traveling with my operations manager. His name was Walter, and me and Walter were actually going to LA. So when I arrived there, we met him for lunch. He actually, I recall, he arrived a little bit late because I kept, calling. He was there maybe like 10, 15 minutes late. Finally, he arrives. He was all like, just casual, kind of like vacation mode, pretty much. And we had lunch. It was everything normal. We started talking about what was his history. He told me he used to work for Prime Wheel. This was a wheel company before my time, so I don't know much about them, but it seems to me that it was like a wheel company. And he was their salesperson, and then somehow he was working now with these Chinese factories. He never mentioned any names, which again, it's a red flag, just FYI. But then he started showing me some pictures. Look, these are the TBR pricing, these are the TBR tires, these are the pricing I can give you. When I saw the pricing, just for perspective, and this was like 7-8 years ago, so I don't remember exactly. I had some notes, but just to give you perspective, it was really, really significant savings. Again, another red flag. If market, because at that point I had already researched very well how much FOB, DDP, local price should be. This guy, if market price was at 200 cost, wholesale, This guy was at 150. And I was like, whoa, man, like this is huge difference. Like it's a big difference. Why is the difference so big? And he straight out just told me, well, you know, the thing is, I just came back from a boat party or a yacht party or whatever with, there was like people in this party, and there's this guy who works at customs. And he said, I'm like really close friends with this guy. Huh? He's like the main guy, the head honcho. And he pretty much told me in a very candidly way that he was getting a favor from this guy and getting lower tariffs, something like that. He didn't go into a lot of detail. That's what I understood. It could have been different. You know, just the fact of him mentioning that there's like this guy of customs and a boat party and helping him, to me, that was the case. So I was like, okay, so I kind of see where this is going from. Again, another red flag. Ethically, I should have said, no, I don't want to deal with any of that, because if you get in trouble, I don't want to be, you know, in trouble. Being the young, ambitious person, you know, of course I was like, okay, are you gonna invoice me in America? I was like, I don't care how you're getting the product, as long as you're getting it into the US and you're billing me from the US, because I don't want to be dealing with that directly. I don't want to be the importer. And he was like, yep, no problem. I'll invoice you from my LLC in the US, no big deal. I was like, okay, fine, then let's get it. Let's get a container. And he was like, okay, but the problem is I need a deposit today. Like I need a deposit today, and the deposit for the containers, you know, typically 20 to 30%. He was like, that's $15,000. I was like, okay, but let me talk about it, because, you know, I just met you. Obviously, I'm not just gonna send you $15,000. And I was like, no problem. Take your time, talk with your dad, do whatever you gotta do. I'm just letting you know that if you want your container, you gotta send it today, because if not, you're gonna have to wait like 3 months or something like that. And at that point, we really needed the product, because we were about to get some good commercial tires that needed those type of tires. So I was like, okay. When we finished that meal, there was still something off about it. You know, it was like, everything is just looking too good to be true. And again, there were a lot of red flags that I should have really paid attention to, but I was too focused on the profit, and I just couldn't say no to that. Unfortunately, that's a hard lesson. After the meeting, the lunch, I remember very vividly calling my father immediately. I was like, Dad, I'm gonna buy this container. However, I want to get a reference. And I don't wanna blame my father, because that's irresponsible, but I mean, he was a referral, right? And I was like, Dad, do you know this person? Have you met him? Have you dealt with him? Is he, you know, responsible? Is he good? And he was like, yep. I mean, I don't know him closely, but he used to be my wheel rep, and we used to buy wheels from him, and I've known him for a while. You know, he's been in the industry, so he's not just some random Joe that's just coming in from nowhere offering product. And I took that as okay, no problem, you know, because in the industry, unfortunately, there's no Yelp reviews, you know, on companies. You gotta just buy them and trust. It's a lot of trust. And especially when you're just starting, you have to send money hoping to get that container. It's a norm. There's no safe way. There's no escrow account that secures your funds. There's no PayPal. And most of the times these are wire transfers. So, you know, once you send the money, it's gone. It's like, it's done. And so I was like, okay, no problem. I went to the bank, scheduled the wire. I sent them the image of the wire, and he was like, congratulations, perfect. We'll go ahead and get you pretty much your invoice. Now, I have my computer here. I don't know exactly, guys, but I want to say, I think I could find the invoice that he sent me, but it was a horrible invoice. It was like a Word sheet, like a Word document that just had like some generic company name, like super sketchy. I'm an accountant, so I had already studied accounting at that time. I knew there was a huge red flag at that point. I was like, oh my God, this invoice is like, that tells me nothing. There's no invoice number, there's no consecutive invoice number, there's no company name, company address, nothing. It's just deposit container, no container. It's just bad. Well, at that point I was like, yeah, this doesn't look good. And I was like, okay, well, I already sent the money. We're gonna have to just keep going as it is. And so when that happened, a month came by, 2 months came by, nothing. I started texting this guy, calling this guy. He would contact me and answer my calls. But then suddenly he stopped. No texts, no calls, no nothing. And then 3 months, 4 months in, I started telling him, being more aggressive, you know, like in my texts, like, hey dude, you know what, I'm gonna sue you, I'm gonna find you, I'm gonna make sure, because I was mad, you know. And then he suddenly responded and said, hey, you know what, I'm so sorry, I got in an accident, it was a terrible accident, and my mom got sick, and blah, 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 blah. He sent me pictures of his leg, which was like, I don't even know if it was his leg. But I was like, dude, okay, I'm sorry for everything that's happening to you right now. I just need my money. Like, I need my money back, or I need my tires. It's that simple. And he was like, okay, I can get you your tires, but I need another deposit. And that's when I was like, absolutely not. Like, you scammed me once already. I'm not gonna send you more money. You gotta get me my tires. Long story short, the guy just never responded back, never answered my calls, never did anything. And I never even knew when the container was gonna arrive because, to be frank, I don't think it was ever gonna arrive. Now, that's where the sponsor of this video comes in hand, because with TireBase, you can actually keep track of your incoming purchases. Now, TireBase has this new feature that when you're searching for tires, you can see what you have available, what you have on hand, what you have committed, which means you've already committed to a customer, and what you have on the way, which is quite awesome. So now, even if you have 0 in stock, you can let your customers know, hey, I don't have any of these in stock, but I have on the way X amount of tires that are expected to arrive this date. And so again, that's just a really cool feature that TireBase has. TireBase is working towards being the first ERP for the tire industry. So anything that has to do with your customers, with your marketing, with your POS system, websites, all that stuff. So if you're interested, if you have a business, if you're watching this video, definitely check TireBase out. I'll leave a link in the description below for a free demo. And again, yeah, thank you so much TireBase for sponsoring this video. But anyways, guys, so yeah, after that, I was like very upset. We did have to write off, the year was 2020 actually, so it wasn't even that long ago. Or at least not that I know. That I'm seeing some notes here, but no, it was actually around 2018 to 2019. And that's how I spent $15,000 in Yard House, because I remember very frankly, he paid for that lunch. Typically when you go out with the supplier or vendor, they pay for lunch, you know, it's kind of customary. And so when he said, no, I'll pay for you and Walter myself, no worries guys, I got this covered. Okay, that's normal, but you're always grateful. At least I'm always grateful. And yeah, with him, he took $15,000. So if you stayed until the end, I know I promised that I was gonna be sharing the name of this person. I have not been able to see or find pictures of him, but the name of the person, his name is Jose Arriola. And again, he used to work at Prime Wheel. And I think I deleted all my messages, so I switched phones, and if not, I would have shared the number and all that stuff. I don't even think if I try to send a message right now, I could find it. Yeah, it's sad. It's very sad, but you guys gotta be very careful. If you are looking for tires, however, we have helped quite a handful of shops, you know, in LA, in Florida, in Michigan, in Utah, Nevada, buy their first container. My goal is to get that fear of, you know, that fear that you're facing. I want to buy my first container, but I'm scared. I don't know if I'm going to get scammed. I don't know if this is legit. And so I've been able to get that. And right now we're actually, rather than introducing you directly to the company itself, we're more brokering the deal, and we help you work with the company, but we still have to be kind of like, we obviously have to make some money. I need to put someone to manage this, and it's anywhere between a 1% to 2%. So it's fairly transparent, but you know, yeah, that's the way it works. Companies have agreed to work with us to get them some new clients. It's a win-win for everyone, because in other words, I'm securing your deposit, that everything goes smooth, that you're talked about how the process works, and then factories get more orders, and then you get a cheaper product. So there are certain requirements. So if you're interested about that, just email me and I'll send you what the requirements are. But yeah, my email is fernandoh@tirebase.io. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Let me know, have you ever gotten scammed? This is the only time I've been scammed. Out of the hundreds probably of containers I bought, the only time I have been ever scammed. And again, it was because I failed to watch all those red flags. It was because I was too ambitious and I just wanted more money, and that's not good. Like it's good when it was just ethically wrong, because again, when he said he was kind of in a way paying the officer to pass through his customs, that doesn't even make sense. You know, if maybe that doesn't happen, but yeah, the total red flags, and I just ignore them. And because of that, that's my consequence. So hopefully you learn from my mistakes, guys. Thank you so much. Again, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, comment below, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.